Okay, very good. So, good morning, everyone. Good morning. I want to, first of all, welcome you once again to the Realtist Week Engaging Women Leaders panel on Zoom. We first of all appreciate each of you for taking time out of your very busy schedules, but I tell you, it's going to be worth your time. We're so grateful to Guy Allen and Michael Brannon and Alita and Rodney who have been spearheading this week. And it's a great week, but it's not over because we're going to be there tomorrow at the home ownership fair. All the details are in the chat, and we're going to really go out with the bang. It's going to be an awesome, awesome day. But for now, we have this awesome panel. I want to introduce our panelists who are going to be talking about leading. Forbes in August 17th, 2020, just after Kamala Harris was announced as the running mate for Joe Biden, they came out with an article, and the article said, "When Black women lead, we all win." And it talked about some inspiring leaders. But one of the quotes that I want to share with you said, Black women's leadership isn't just about their strength and perseverance. It's about how consistently they show up and fight for the common good. Doesn't that sound just like NAREB and the initiatives of NAREB, fighting for the common good? NAREB has 5 strategic priorities: faith-based and civic engagement, women initiatives, meaning women investing in real estate, they call it the WIRE program, diversity and inclusion, small businesses. Number 4, multi-generational wealth building. And number 5, government relations and advocacy. So yes, Black women, when we show up and fight for that common good, we make a difference. And the article goes on to say, whether Black women are narrowing the wealth gap, sounds like NAREB, right? Fighting for free and fair elections, sounds like NAREB, or gearing up to assume some of the highest offices in boardrooms, in the nation, in real estate groups, in Realtors Network. When Black women lead, we all win. Okay, so that's our opening quote this morning. So without further ado, I want to introduce our esteemed panelists for you. First coming up, I'm going to spotlight them as I bring them up. Okay, so first coming up, I should have had someone spotlighted for me, but it's okay. We'll work it out, won't we? First up, we have Nakita Mattocks. Everyone say good morning. You don't have to unmute, but just wave it. All right. So Nakita has been in real estate for over 20 years. She is the principal broker with Exit Realty. Her passion for serving people began while she was serving her country in the United States Navy. So she's a former veteran. She is now the owner of the Mattocks Group LLC. She's gained extensive knowledge in real estate brokerage. She owns her own construction company, management and renovations. She does have a BA degree in psychology. She's a licensed broker in Virginia, Maryland, DC, and Florida. And she is very involved in her community. She has been, and Nakita, one thing to know about her is she has been a president of the National Association of Real Estate Brokers. She was actually of this particular network. So let's give a hand of applause for Nakita. And she does work with her husband on a nonprofit. So she's just the gift that keeps on giving. All right, next on, everyone say hello to Nakita. All right, next on our list, we have none other than JoiE Boykins. Everybody say good morning, JoiE. Good morning. Her name just brings you joy, doesn't it? All right, so JoiE is a broker associate with eXp Realty. She is a real estate licensing instructor. She's a member of she's been a member of the Agent Leadership Council for Richmond Association of Realtors. She is a Realtist. She is a member of so many organizations, a certified mentor, a capper, an icon agent with her brokerage eXp Realty. She has owned her own brokerage. She has her own property management company. So she is definitely a woman to be esteemed in leadership. She's a mover and a shaker. So everyone welcome Miss JoiE Boykins. And she serves alongside. See, this is a family thing. I'm telling you, we're seeing a theme here. She, like Nakita, serves with her husband. JoiE serves with her children. Her children. So let's give it up for JoiE Boykins.
And my sister's an agent too.
Okay, outstanding. Next, we're bringing to the stage someone who doesn't really need any introduction. I mean, everyone knows this young lady. She's all over the place. Michelle Caldwell-Thompson. She is the broker and the owner of CTI Real Estate. Give it up for Miss Michelle. She actually opened a new office yesterday. So very excited for her. She's been doing some great things, but I'm just going to read, her resume. You got to look her up. But she is the founder and the CEO of CTI. She's a board member for a bank. I'll let her share more about that as the time comes up. She's on the Employee Relocation Council, Society of Government Travel Professionals. She's been the past president of the Links. She's on the Fredericksburg Regional Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors, Rappahannock Educational Foundation Vice President, University of Mary Washington Honors Program Advisory Board Member. She's just a gift that keeps giving too. Mary Washington Hospital Center Board Member. I'm telling you, it doesn't get any better. She's been on talk shows, radio shows. She's keynoted several. Just her resume speaks for itself. Just a powerful woman. And once again, she's keeping it in the family because she serves with her husband. So we're seeing a theme here. So everyone, welcome Michelle. All right, welcome Michelle. All right, so it is time now to get our awesome panel started. And we do have some questions to get started. But what I wanted to say, ladies, you don't have to wait for me to ask questions. Is there anything you wanted to just impart out the gate to our awesome audience? Anybody?
I just want to say real quick before we get started, let's give it up for Tara because Tara is amazing and she's everywhere. And I know she works alongside her husband. She's engaged in the community. She's in Richmond, Maryland, Virginia, DC. She's everywhere. So Tara, we appreciate you.
Oh, thank you so much, Nakita. Thank you so much. Well, let's get started. First of all, we have some Realtist members here. We have, I know JoiE, you're a member, and Nakita, you're a past president. Let's just go straight to it. As the membership in NAREB, how has that membership, your activity, how has that bolstered your career? You're a woman leader. There aren't many Black women leaders in real estate. We just know that. But how has being a member of this awesome organization bolstered your career? And let me talk to our audience. For our audience, if you have questions, put them in the chat. We will recognize those that are in the chat first, if there's time, and before we recognize any others. So put your questions in the chat and we'll be monitoring those. So Nakita, JoiE, the floor is yours.
Good morning. I was going to say, I think it boosted my career with the education piece. So I didn't know about NAREB for a little while. And so once I got involved, it boosted my education piece to be able to educate others about NAREB. So that's what it has done for me and my business.
Awesome. So education. So we have educational programming. Michael or Guy, if you all would put in the chat the links to where all of the NAREB educational activities, I know they have them every week because I get all the emails. And they are fantastic programs. So JoiE, I do agree with you and echo the education. Nakita, what do you think? What really impacted you and helped bolster your career?
I think education is true, the connections, but the biggest thing for me is, the relationships, but the biggest thing is having that confidence. When I look at NAREB and how the beginning leaders, where they started from and where they've come, it's really given me the confidence to walk into a room and not be afraid if I'm the only one in there. Of course that intimidation tries to rise up on the inside of you, but at the end of the day, we have to press forward, even in situations where we're the only one standing in that. So NAREB has just given me the confidence to just be unapologetically who I am and who God made me to be. So it's been a part of it.
I love that, Nakita, and you hit on something very, very powerful. It is sometimes a challenge to be the only one, but someone's got to do it.
Yes.
Someone's do it. Michelle, can you speak to that? Can you speak to that? I know you're on board, you're in boardrooms almost every day. I'm probably holding you from a board meeting this morning. So,
Good
about
morning,
being the only one.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Tara, Joy, Nakita, it's an honor to be here with you all and everyone today. And you're right, I do serve on boards where I am the only female. I'm often the only Black female. As a member of the board of directors for a publicly traded bank, I was sharing earlier that you go to a conference and you look around the room and there's no one there that looks like you. Even in a Chamber of Commerce board, I'm the vice president this year of the Fredericksburg Regional Chamber of Commerce. I'm the vice chair of the board. The Fredericksburg Chamber has been in existence for 110 years. I'm the first person of color to hold that position. So this is why these panels are so important. This is why these organizations are so important, because there needs to be a safe space where we can all get together and share our experiences and learn from each other.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And it's a challenge, you know, when you go and you voice your concerns, sometimes the perspectives that we have are different from our counterparts in those environments. So how do you keep doing it? How do you, as leaders, we already said we're the minority in real estate, period. There are very few. When we tried to get this panel together, I'll be honest, there were very few options we had from Black women brokers in our area. But I think it's an issue we see everywhere. So how do you push past that? How do you get through those challenges?
Can I say, get out. First of all, you have to get out your head. That's always one of the things that I have to do for myself, is get out of my head and just know that I'm a child of the King. When I think on that level, it kind of pushes me forward, even when I'm like a little intimidated. But at the end of the day, you got to be the best that you are, and you're going to shine through anyway. So the first thing I tell everybody that's around me, get out your head. When somebody starts speaking, get out your head and know who you are. Michelle, I still have one of your business cards from way back when. I don't even know. But when I saw you was one of the, I was like, oh my God. So anyway, I am so excited to be speaking with you all ladies. I mean, it's an inspiration. I'm listening to you. I'm like, I gotta do more. Like, if you get out of your head, get out of your way, you're able to go anywhere, and stop looking at yourself. Look at what you have behind you. Being with NAREB, knowing that you have NAREB behind you. Gearing up, me having Tara as somebody with me on my team, is always just knowing that we have these connections. Use your connections. Always use your connections.
I just like to say, do it scared.
Come on.
Do it scared. We're all scared. We're all nervous. Our heart always flutters. I speak, I teach. When I stand in front of these people, that's a responsibility. Everybody hearts flutters. Everybody has the butterflies in the stomach, but do it scared. Do it anyway. Know that it's not just for me. It's not just for you, especially for me. I was sharing with Tara and you all earlier. I've been licensed since 1992. So that's a long time, right? But it's still scary to stand in front of people and talk to folks. But I think each of us has a responsibility to, when you get to whatever next level there is, not to close the door behind us, but to prop it open and usher the next generation through. And if they don't see the Nakitas who's been licensed for, who's a principal broker of a gigantic firm, or, they don't see us out there doing it, then sometimes they think, well, is it possible to be done? So there's a responsibility to do it anyhow. Do it scared.
Wow, I love that. I hope you all are taking notes. I don't know if I would just be able to sit here and not write all this down. I just have to focus so I can listen to the next things I can. It's some powerful note. What does my husband always say, you all? Note makers are money. Note
takers are money
makers.
Note takers are money makers.
Are helpers of one another. And that's the part I enjoy about even this collaboration, helping each other. I like what Michelle said. when you get in the door, it's not for you to just get in the door and close it and say, I'm here, I've arrived. But you're supposed to crack it open for someone else to be able to get in too. So speaking of that, I'm not the one who likes to just hear the glory. I'm going to be honest. I don't learn very much from, only thing I hear from someone is, oh, I've arrived and this is who I've amassed this amount. I can't learn from that. But you know what? I learn when I hear someone say, you know what? I had to do this to feed my family. I didn't know how I was going to feed my family. I had this person say this to me and I still had to come show up. So I want to hear some challenges that you all faced. I think our audience needs to hear that, because if we're going to inspire people to continue engaging with each other, to continue engaging to the point that we are bringing up the next generation of leaders, they need to hear it. I know I was inspired by those that went before me to do great things and to continue to push. And I haven't arrived. I'm still striving. But what are some of the challenges? Tell us something. We're in the boardroom. This is a private discussion. Nobody's but us. What's a challenge you faced and how you overcame it? Whoever wants to go.
You want me to go? You know how I am. Okay, get it out the way. So story time. So what I wanted to say is that when I started real estate, I had the insurance. I was working for an insurance company. Everything was lovely, peachy keen. Husband doing his thing. We both, you know, I say I want to do real estate. Always want to do real estate. The name of my company was going to be Brick, Sticks, and Stones Realty, and my logo was going to be 3 Little Pigs. So when I was like in high school, I always wanted to do it. So my husband said, hey, you want to do it? You know, I'll get insurance. That's fine. So my only responsibility was paying the house note. Okay. And he paid everything else, like everything else. So I was like, okay, cool. A house note was probably like $600. So I was like, I could do $600. Well, I started out pretty good. I had family, you know, you go through your sphere influence, had my family buying from me, but then it didn't go good. Okay. And I'm that one, I was like, I don't want to go back to work. I want to do real estate. So what ended up happening was I had this deal and I was like, okay, the moral of the story is that real estate will keep you close to God. I am like, oh my gosh, I got this deal. Okay, good. Mr. Wade is going to sell his house and he's going to use me to buy another house. And so I got a contract on there, but I learned you know, when you're new, you don't know a lot of things. And some people try to get over on you. So the loan officer kept being missing in action, would call me at 10 o'clock at night. And at the time, cell phones, that was when it was cheapest to answer anyway back then. I'm not telling how long ago that is, but anyway, he wouldn't answer the phone during the daytime. It was just a lot. And I remember in the living room floor, you know, basically the deal fell apart. Mr. Wade was buying the house. That house fell apart. The person that was buying this house went missing. Then Mr. Wade house, we had to let that go. And I remember I was in the living room floor going, God, why hast thou forsaken? I didn't say that, but that's what the cry was about. Like, Lord, you told me this is what I'm supposed to do. Why I can't do this? Why, you know, and it's a lot because again, we have the family, we have the 2 kids, you know, they have activities that we need to pay for. And my one responsibility is the house note, $600. And I just could not understand. But God, I'm just going to say, but God. He worked it out. You know, put the house back on the market. I got a new buyer. That new buyer bought Mr. Wade's house. Mr. Wade bought another house. So God, you know, real estate to keep you close to God. And it gets hard sometimes. And we just got to be able to press on and be all right with it. Okay. Just know that you will always be all right. And it's always like that for us. We still got to be mama. We still got to be wife. We got to be girlfriend, fiance. But you just got to know in you that you're a child of the King. Remember that.
And that's been your theme throughout, JoiE. Even when I first introduced you, you said that. It's very important to have that relationship with God. And as we said, that's one of the pillars of NAREB anyway. This organization was founded on faith. So that's very important. And that kept you grounded. Did you have any mentors or anyone to walk you through that? How important was mentoring in that?
Well, I'm sorry to say I didn't really have any mentors. I mean, I didn't. It was just me rocking with the Lord. But
And when we think about it, perhaps if you had one, it would have
yes,
been less stressful. I think part of the moral is we do need to mentor up. We need to mentor up. Don't try to do it all on our own. Find someone who's done what you're wanting to do and shadow them, follow them. These ladies on this Zoom, I know they're busy, so they're gonna be mad at me for telling you to do this. But they'll be email them. Say, can I take you to coffee? Pick their brain.
you know what? Didn't have a mentor, but you do find friends along the way.
You do.
Mhm.
And you have, if you don't, and me and a friend basically, I took an appraisal class, we took an appraisal class together. But if you can't find a mentor, just find somebody that can be your prayer warrior sister in the business.
Iron sharpens iron. Nakita,
right.
what about you? I want to hear a challenge.
I would, when I was thinking about it, there's been challenges in the beginning, then middle, you have different challenges as you try to grow. It's like a new challenges come up, but I'll just be transparent. When I first came into real estate, I got out of the military. Me and my husband, we were in the military. So we made the decision that I would get out and take care of the children. Now here we are. We're used to getting paid on the 1st and 15th in the military. So when I got out, here, my 1st and 15th paycheck was going to disappear. So that was a challenge in the beginning because I started in a relocation department and it was very busy. And so I was very busy and wasn't really having the time I wasn't that stay-at-home mom that I thought I was going to be able to, because people say, I want to run my own business, I'll get in real estate, I can control my time. Well, when you're new and you need the money, nobody's controlling your time. So it was a little rough there in the beginning, trying to get my spouse to understand, the new nature of what I was getting into. This was how it's going to be. In that beginning phase, just trying to adjust to not knowing how to be in charge of my business, but letting my clients run me. So I was running raggedy with my husband and my not really understanding, still being involved in ministry. I was experiencing a lot of stress, but I was able to meet good people along the way. I'm thankful that I did have people along the way to try to pour into me at different phases in my career about how I can get that balance. And sometimes you do feel like you're standing alone, not even as a real estate agent, just as an entrepreneur. You feel like people don't understand you because you got that burning thing on the inside of you and you can do this, and you might feel like you're going it alone. But we have to remember that really we're not alone. We're never alone. And that sometimes it's just as simple as opening our mouths and asking for help. And then trying to find, Tara, when you said earlier, when I go into a room and I'm the only one, I kind of look for a common. So in order to get people to hear what you have to say and to get them to maybe see our point of view that may be different, we have to find a commonality to bridge that gap so we can move the agenda forward.
I love that. Nakita, everything you said, I wish I could take notes, but I'm reading the chat and looking at and all that. But what I heard was you have to set the expectations for everyone around you, even yourself, your family, because we're all on this ride together. It is a family affair. So that's what I'm hearing, number one. Number two, you're just going to have to go through your process.
Yes.
It's a process. What I heard was these are things that are almost unavoidable, but stick with it. Stay in it. We have some great questions in the chat we want to get to, but I want to hear a challenge that Michelle had, because I'm sure she's had some powerful ones, just like the others have.
Okay, so some big challenges was, I'm from a really small town, the quaint town of Quincy, Florida. Nobody knows where it is. Nobody on this call has probably ever heard of it. It's in the Florida-Georgia line. It's one of those places where there's Highway 90 runs straight through town, and there's 3 traffic lights, and they all blink at 11 o'clock, so you don't have to stop. Everybody knows everybody. There was like 120 people in my high school class, but people are friendly. One of my biggest challenges early in real estate was overcoming objections and rude people. I just had a hard time with my bounce back, because I was like, why are y'all Northern Virginia folks so mean? It was just really hard for me. I'm like, it's okay to say no, but you have to say it with grouchiness, So my bounce back it just took a while. to get used to overcoming objections, accepting a no, and not wanting to go hide on the couch to get myself back together to try again.
Mm.
So I had to learn how to reduce my recovery time. Once I got past that, then I had to get used to being in uncomfortable rooms. So I was really good with my business planning. And then I would get appointments and I would show up black and female. And I was like, oh, that's I mm, you weren't you're not quite what who I, oh, well, thank you for coming. And I'm like,
Wow.
what is this?
Right.
Because I was from a mindset. I originally got my license in Atlanta. I grew up in Florida, got married, started selling real estate in Atlanta. Um, and it was a much more, I would say, frankly, welcoming environment than Northern Virginia. And so I kept showing up what I thought well qualified black and female. And I'm like, well, did they read the resume? What's happening? So I just had to get used to the additional lift sometimes. And
Mhm.
frankly, it was often an additional lift to be in uncomfortable rooms. Then I started to recognize the importance of me being in the uncomfortable room because sometimes my presence shifted the dynamic.
Woo.
Sometimes being there as a Rotarian, because I am a Rotarian. So being in like you're Rotarian, how did that happen? You keep
No, that
showing up in uncomfortable rooms.
yeah, you
Being
did.
there as as a Rotarian and being only one of two African American women in my 150 person Rotarian group here in Fredericksburg, it's important. It shifts the atmosphere.
Wow.
So what I learned is I couldn't let other people's per, perspectives or attitudes keep me from my next step.
Mm.
I didn't have to take any of these folks home with me. I have a great family. I have wonderful friends. This
That
is
was
work.
good.
I'm showing up. I'm doing what I'm paid to do. I am engaging in a way that um, is respectful to the community, to me, and who I am as an individual, a business person, and a child of God. And I am pushing forward in a professional way. So my the challenge was learning to show up, learning, as I tell my team all the time, show up and shine. If you're going to show up, you might as well shine. So to show up and shine in rooms where, first of all, people may not have were wondering why you were there, and
Right.
in many cases didn't expect you to shine. Show up anyway, do it scared.
I love that. I love that. You all
Good.
are so just show up and be there. Excellent, Michelle. And the Rotarian is a member of the Rotary. Want to make sure we were
Yes,
clear.
a Rotarian is one who is a member of Rotary International.
Okay, thank you, thank you. So, any other Rotarians, make yourself known out there. But we want to get to our questions as our time is amazing as this is. It is ending very quickly in the next few minutes. So we want to get to some of our questions. We have some questions in the chat. Remember, once again, if you have a question for our panelists, you can certainly post those in the chat. But one question that came from Chanel Harper, and I want to hear this myself. What would you have done differently? Looking back, now we talk about all the glory, we talk about all the challenges we overcame, we talked about pushing and pressing. But if you had to do it all over and start over, well, first of all, would you have done anything differently? And secondly, what would it have been? Anybody can answer.
Hmm. Let's
Don't
see,
be
what would I
shy.
have done differently? I would have I would have gotten over myself earlier. Because I'm like, what am I doing wrong? How's this? I would have just gotten over myself earlier. It took me a long time to just lean on the skill set, learn that some will, some won't next, and just keep performing in excellence. And if you follow the plan, if you have a strong business plan, the the outcome will happen. It'll
Awesome.
happen for you. I just had to learn to get over myself and my insecurities and my fears. It took a while. It
Yeah.
took a while. Everyone seemed to be really fancy up here. Everyone seemed to have all of these connections. Um, I went to an HBCU. People were like, "Are you Virginia Tech? Are you UVA?" I'm like, "I'm FAMU, Florida A&M University, 1887, highest of Seven Hills, Tallahassee, Florida." I'm just
Proud.
like, "Are you military? Are
Proud.
you Army or Navy?" Nope, I'm Quincy, Florida. Quaint
Yeah.
town, 30 miles from the Florida-Georgia border. So everyone was looking for the commonality, Nakita, and I just didn't fit any of the boxes.
Right, right.
Are you Greek? No, I'm moved by me. I mean, just I just didn't fit anybody's box. So
Right,
Yeah.
they're like, "Are you Greek? No, I'm not Greek. Are you military? No, I'm not military. Are you Virginia Tech, UVA? Go FAMU, FAMU.edu." So I'm just, I
I
didn't
love,
seem to fit anyone's
I love that.
box.
Love
So
it.
since I did not fit anyone's box, I had to lean on skill set,
Yes.
because I didn't have anybody necessarily up here working with me because I was wearing their colors, or working with me because we had served in somewhere together, or working with me because of whatever reason. So
Awesome.
I just had to lead with skill set and get over my own insecurities to say, this is what I bring to the table and why I'm the best fit.
I love that, Michelle. Get over
right.
yourself. So you would have gotten over yourself quicker. Sometimes we're the only thing blocking us,
Yes.
ourselves. Where we compare ourselves to others. We can get into that comparison thing where everyone else is military and I'm not. Everyone else went to Virginia Tech or UVA or VCU or Hampton or all these schools up here and I didn't go. So all of that, just get that out of the way. I love that. Nakita, what about you? What would you have done differently?
Wow, I think what she said was spot on. Not over getting out of your own head and just that's the biggest thing. And the fears, pushing beyond certain fears of things that I wanted to do earlier, but thinking like that what other people might say, and it holds you back. So just pushing past those fears and getting out of my own space. That was spot on for me.
Love that. JoiE, what about you?
I'm a co-sign that. Um, it's funny. If you run your own race, you'll be okay.
Mm.
Yeah.
I don't
So
think any of us really fit in a box. I think when you are called, because when you asked about why do we do this, that was one of the questions. But I mean, it's that calling on the inside. So you're not going to be an in the box person. So people might misunderstand you, or people might not agree with some of the things that you do, but you push beyond those things anyway.
Awesome. Out next, panelists. This is time for all of us to participate. I want you to type, not panelists, attendees, type in the chat what you've gotten out of this. I want to hear the nuggets. We're going to capture all these nuggets. Type one nugget that you got that you're going to apply, and we're going to read them out because we want this to be something that inspires you to change. If you just listen and you didn't get anything from it that you can immediately go and put in action, then we may have wasted an hour of our time today with, I don't see how we could, because this has been awesome. While they're putting in the chat that real quick, why real estate? It seems like we're having a lot, we have, obviously I run a real estate school, so I have a lot of people approaching me about real estate, but I'm still noticing that we still just don't have representation across the board. So what made you, first of all, pick the career of real estate, select this career and move forward with it? And how can we grab someone else, leave the door cracked for the next person to come on in? Anybody?
I was gonna say, mine's real quick and easy. Brick, sticks, and stone realty, Three Little Pigs. That was gonna be my thing. I just love I love looking at houses. First, it always starts with you liking something. Love looking at houses. Cracking the door open is what I try to do with training and teaching the next set. Like it's gonna be, I remember as a broker, his name was Mr. Ricks, and he said, I first got my broker's license. I said, "Oh, I'm gonna be a broker like you." And he said, "Child, you're gonna get tired of walking up and down these steps, and so what we have to do is learn and learn more, train more. We learn and then we train.
Okay, learn more, train more. Nakita, what about you?
Um,
Why real estate? Because I know
By
you're in
real
the
estate, I got into real estate, by default. It wasn't even the plan for me to be in the real estate, honestly, when I initially got out the military. But once I did get in there, and like I said, I started in the relocation department. I just saw the opportunities and the freedom that it would allow me to perhaps have generational wealth for my family. I don't know about you guys, but nobody in my family ever talked about generational wealth and legacy. But I was hearing those conversations around the crowd of people when I first came into real estate. So that was why I continued to stay in here and push forward and press forward in real estate. And I still love it. And I eat, breathe, and live this stuff. It's so vast. It's so many different ways things that you can do into real estate. I don't know what else I would do.
Awesome, awesome. So it's really a passion of yours and it's something you love.
Yes.
All right, Michelle, what about you?
I got into real estate because I had an unfortunate real estate experience. I graduated, I know, right? I did. I graduated from FAM. My husband's a couple years older than I am, 31 years, well, 32 this year, right? And he had already gotten a job and was working and had saved every nugget. So when I graduated, we could get married. And we wanted to buy a house. Realtors stood us up. They would take us to places that they didn't want their children to live, probably. And I get it. We were young and goofy looking, and probably they didn't think we were overly serious, whatever. But then I found myself to be expecting our first child. And I didn't want to have this baby in this 3-story walk up where we were living. And I said, well, how long does it take to get a real estate license? I can do this myself. And I got a real estate license. We closed 3 days before my first baby was born. And then other people, it was not something I had intended to continue doing. I was supposed to be an educator like my mom and dad. They were teachers. But then other young people were like, well, how did you do that? First time home buyers are still my favorite. People started coming to me asking, like, y'all bought something? How did that happen? Again, we were young and goofy looking. And they were like, well, how did that happen? And we were able to launch from there to help other people in marginalized communities who maybe didn't have the best addresses like we didn't have at the time to become homeowners in their 20s, because we were in our 20s at the time. And that became a passion to me once I realized that this community, the community that I was in at the time, was underserved and overlooked and sometimes brushed aside. And I became passionate about being in that community and sharing that, okay, I did this, you can do this too, let me show you how. And I'll also share that a lot of people weren't excited about it, including my family. My family's like, I just paid you to get this degree and you want to go sell real estate?
Right.
What are we doing here? And then for years, my mother would tell people, she wouldn't even tell people I was selling real estate. She would say, Michelle's at home with the children right now. And, doing real estate too, while she's at home. And then once the babies get older, she'll go back into education. I literally had to open a whole company for my mother to claim this. She's like, oh yeah, she's a business owner. It has.
Got a little more prestige to it, huh?
That is how I backed in the real estate but sometimes I believe that God sets you on a path. I believe this is my mission. It is my passion. I am passionate about first-time home buyers. I am passionate about people getting on the path to home ownership early. Like, why are you paying $1,800 for rent? So if you see me out there teaching, if you see me out there, I'm talking about first-time home buyers, because once you get on the path and you realize it's attainable, then guess what? Other people see you and they realize that if he did it for you, that it's possible they'll do it. He'll do it for them. And we can be a bridge to that.
I love that. Let's give our panelists a hand. I tell you, they have done an amazing job. This was really just too short. I'm just going to read some of the chat. Some people said some of the nuggets that stood out was run my own race, show up and shine, keep showing up, be in the uncomfortable room, Tasha Nelson says, realize that God is the best coach there is. Rodney says, don't let people put you in a box. Joseph Boykins said, do it scared. Pamela Green, be your own authentic self and show up. E. Carr, do it scared. That do it scared stuck out to people. We need to get a t-shirt that says that. God, that may be our next t-shirt for Realtist Network.
Glad to
Dennis
help y'all.
Boykins, get out of your head and run your own race. Ebony, get over myself. Stop worrying about being different from others. I'm not like everybody else. Run your own race, Linda said. Lean on skill. Miriam, the best advice, get over yourself. Get out of your own uncomfortableness. Alita Allen, work through fear. Have a business plan. Tim Neal, while being a strong leader as a woman, have there been any challenges? Yes. So we talked about that a little bit. Leading men. Let's talk about that. That is a question real quick. We have like one minute. Can one of you attack that? How do you lead men realtors? Because you still want to show, we want to come together and have men work with us. How do you lead male realtors? That's a question from a man. Tim Neal.
Okay, this is how I do it. I let them think they're in control. That's just, I mean, I'm sorry. That's my tactic. I'm sorry. I mean, because I always said, man is the head, but we the neck. And unless you, I'm just saying. All right, that's mine. Y'all go ahead.
Period. Nunley said, period. That's it.
I don't think it's a really I don't think you really lead them any differently when you are a servant leader. I think you treat them just like men, but I raised 4 boys, so I understand men have different dynamics. So, I just try to find things that I have in common with them and just treat them with respect, just like I would anyone else.
Michael Brandon is giving you a hand clap on that. And I know Nakita and I are boy moms. Boy moms unite. So I know they're a different breed, but I said different breed, but they're still human beings. But we're just joking. We love our men. We love our men.
Yes, we do.
We're all working together.
Right.
And we need you. We need you. And so leading men, I like what Nakita said, and I like what JoiE said. Michelle, anything you want to add to that?
I'll say participatory leadership. Everyone should have a voice.
Good.
Skill set, people respect the skill set. Participatory leadership allowed everybody to have a voice in the outcomes.
Love it. All right, well, let's give our panelists a hand. I tell you, I hate to end this, but I know that some of our panelists have appointments. I know I have an appointment, and you all knew that you were on this for about an hour. So we want to get you on. But I tell you, Michelle, Nakita, JoiE, thank you so much. Miriam's asking for the next event, you all. So we're going to do something, guys, where we bring this in person. Today was a busy day, so we had to do it this way, but we're going to bring it in person. So Guy, real quick, you want to go over what's happening tomorrow, and so that everyone can hear it again, and then we'll be done.
Oh, yes. But I just got to say, look, thank you so much for all of you coming out today. This was phenomenal. We need to put all this in a time capsule, a bottle or something, and just bottle it up, and so we can disperse it and get it out to our membership. But tomorrow is going to be a big day. Hopefully the weather is going to hold up for us. We may have some sprinkles, but we're going to be out there anyway. Tomorrow is the Community Day event, the big day. It's a Community Day festival. We're going to have a DJ. We're going to have music. We're going to have lenders. We're going to have title companies. We're going to have real estate professionals. They've got booths. City is going to be there. Lisa and her team is going to be there. So definitely want to be, that's Alita Johnson, not my wife, my Alita Johnson. Yeah. Well, but we're going to be out there. We're going to have a great time. I would love nothing more than to have each and every one of you come out tomorrow so we can have a show of force and show people that we're trying to help folks get experience the dream of home ownership. So that's tomorrow, and we're going to be there from 10 to 4. So get out there early. Send your post, put it on your post, send it out to everybody. Send your friends and your enemies. Send everybody out there. You want everybody to come. Send everybody. So please Looking forward to seeing y'all tomorrow and having a great day. Chara, you are just amazing. I just got to tell you, you're just amazing. Let's give her a big hand. She just controls the room. So you really want to
too much fun. What does Dr. Dennis Kimbrough say? When you love what you do it for free, you'll never work a day in your life. I love it.
There you go. Yeah. Thank you so much. That's all I have.
Thank you, Guy. Real quick, Michael Brandon, are you able to put the joining information in the chat as well? We are always in membership drive mode. And if you are not a member of the Realtist Network of Northern Virginia, you need to be. I know we have some Richmond members. I don't know, Joy, if you can put the Richmond link in, but if you haven't, if not, reach out to Joy Boykins. She's all over the internet, so just find her. But thank you all very much. Nakita, Michelle, Joy, if you want to put your contact information in the chat so that people can grab it and reach out to you to take you out for that cup of coffee and pick your brain, feel free to do that. And you can email Michael Brandon for leadership information, membership information. His number's in the chat. So I'm just going to leave it open for like 2 minutes for you to grab all the stuff you need to grab out of the chat. But we are done. Thank you all very much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Bye-bye.
Have a wonderful day. This was awesome.
Thank you, Tara, for the opportunity. And Michelle, oh my gosh, I'm crushing on you in the background. I've been watching you, just letting you know.
Pray for me, girl. Pray for me.
Always,
say my name. Say my name out loud in front of the king.
I will. But
let's all get together more. I'm glad that we can all be in person again. So we can just enjoy each other in person. Zoom's are nice. I miss you in person.
Yes. God be blessed.
All right, you all took
everyone.
Open a few minutes to grab information. Bye, everybody.